and welcome back to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we like to talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. My name's Don Marshall. I'm a big chubby guy living here in sunny Hollywood, and today I am an Andor-loving Andor boy.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
You know, that would be true if it weren't false. Hi, I'm Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser. And yeah, I'm not part of that extended universe. I'm here in my extended universe with the lovely and talented Trevor Keys-on.
Who's that?
That's me. I'm Trevor Keys-on. I'm a super chub, and I'm a desperate housewives boy. 'Cause I've been watching Desperate Housewives.
You've been watching a lot of
fun.
that. Yeah.
It's I think I'm on season 4. It's good. It's fun.
Oh, is that the one with the murder and the neighbor?
Yeah. A lot of murder, I like that there's just like, everyone has secrets, and then there's always like, the secret, but there's more secrets to the secret.
It's a secrets parfait.
It's like the X-Files in the suburbs.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Michael. I am a chaser, and I suppose today I'm a fallback boy to 30 Rock. It's my feel good show. If I need to just not think and feel good for a while, it's the one. I think I'm on rewatch. I haven't actually counted, but somewhere in the 20s. Somewhere in the 20s of the entire series.
Good God, Lemon.
Oh my God.
Good God, Lemon.
Well, welcome.
At this point, we're going to have one-man like performances of individual
I
episodes
could.
by Michael.
I probably could.
But Trevor would insist to be done with puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back to the episode.
Yeah. Thank you to our patrons, Patreon, new patrons, old patrons. We have, cutting room floor, which we just
flew got through a cutting room floor bit.
Some behind the scenes, some minisodes, new minisode coming this month.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and then I've been working on. I think it's going to be another Michael Trevor cooking with a appetizer spin. So something.
Yeah.
Try to get it out. So maybe you can make one of these for your holiday gathering.
You mean
right.
antojitos?
No,
And all the people who didn't hear cutting room floor are gonna have no idea what you're talking about.
Also coming up this month. On our episode on December 21st, we are going to be discussing Last Holiday, which is one of Dan's favorite movies ever, I would argue.
I've never seen this.
The thing is, you got to get, this is just so out of character for me because I don't like holiday movies. I hate romantic comedy. And somehow this manages to get past both those filters. It's just so heartwarming.
Okay.
It's everything you want in a warmed heart.
Is this? I haven't seen it. I know almost nothing about it. Is this the Queen Latifah?
This is the Queen Latifah.
It is a remake, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
it is.
it's a remake of a British movie. We'll discuss this in the episode. The American remake was originally supposed to star John Candy back in like the 80s, early 90s, but he passed away before it was made, so it got shelved. And somehow it got into the hands of Queen Latifah, and they reworked it for her.
Awesome.
And it's, I got to say, I'm not a huge fan of John Candy. I'm not even that big a fan of Queen Latifah, but she makes this movie. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
So go see it because we're going to discuss it.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And so the episode comes out on the 21st.
Yes.
And then we'll take a short little break, and then we're coming back strong, hopefully, in the new year.
Yes.
We'll see.
Well, and speaking of the new year, people have been sharing their Spotify Wrapped and tagging us.
Ooh.
So we were in the top podcast for several people.
Oh, good.
And someone shared that our podcast was their number one podcast, and they listened to 2,299 minutes of us
Holy moly.
in 2022.
Okay.
Hi, listener.
Actually, I'm just going to do some quick math.
You do the math.
I tried to figure it out. I think
You just divide by 60. It's not that hard.
That's actually, so that's about 38 episodes.
Yeah.
So you've got work to do, listener.
In just 100 more hours, you'll be cool. No. No, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
how many minutes
fantastic.
has Michael had to listen to?
Well, every time we record it, plus another time that I edit it, plus, too many.
Yeah.
Too many, tens of thousands.
525,000.
So
Anyway.
the long and the short of this, if you want to help us out, just put us on your Christmas Carol list. Just shove our
Just have it
podcast into your...
Yeah.
Right. You're having a
Your
holiday
rotation.
party? Put us on.
Oh my God.
Right, everyone sing together. Jingle bells. Jingle bells.
Ba-dum-bum. Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Let's dive on
Well,
in.
I think that's it. Wait,
Pop culture.
we have a thing for this, don't we?
Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
Pop culture, baby.
We're dancing.
Yeah, downstairs.
Jab dancing our way in.
I'm waving my hands.
That's right. You got
And I
to.
take off my top hat, and with a flourish, I wave it.
It really is worth
Jazz
seeing
hands.
Trevor couch dance.
Yes.
We're here.
So I want to preface this. We're back with Lizzo, but it's not gonna. We're not gonna. There's a reason, listener. For our listeners who are not hardcore Lizzo people, Dan, when he saw he's like, really more Lizzo after last week, which the Lizzo segment of last week was
Excessive.
it was 20 minutes of recording time for us, which Michael trimmed down.
Only half of that.
To only 10 minutes.
But if you want to experience what Michael and I experienced and really see why we went on for 20 minutes, you can.
Yes.
Because the concert we were at was filmed for an HBO special. And what they did was the end of Lizzo's tour was in LA, November 18th and 19th. And they filmed both of those concerts and I think are kind of Frankensteining them together because
I would think so, yeah.
we saw, Missy Elliott and Cardi B were at ours. The following night, SZA performed with Lizzo. So I think they're taking all these different segments and putting them together.
And that's coming out for Christmas.
Yeah, or New Year's.
Oh, New Year's. Right.
So December 31st, you want to feel some love. You want to go into the new year with the right kind of vibe. You're going to be able to.
And it was the actual, at least some of it is the actual concert Trevor and Michael and I were at. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's super exciting. She has a full-blown feature in Variety, interviewed and written by Angelique Jackson. She also had a documentary come out.
Yes.
I didn't
and
realize
that's what the interview is about. The interview is about the documentary, about Lizzo, about doing the concert, about
all the things. Yeah. Well, it's kind of an encompassment of she's got her own production company that is doing all of these things.
I think it's on the main page of HBO Max right now.
I just want to say encompassment again.
Yes.
Say it slow, Dan. Say it.
And trademark.
Encompassment.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a real word? Who knows? You tell us, listener.
If I said enough, it will be.
But the documentary is called Love Lizzo, and it's, I think they started shooting it intentionally back in 2019. So it goes all the way through some point in this year.
It's got baby pictures. It's got baby videos. It's got baby Lizzo. It's got little kid Lizzo. It's
All
got
the
everything you've
things.
ever wanted about Lizzo.
And I don't know. It's not everybody's jam, but if I think you can imagine what that would entail as far as an experience, a documentary storytelling experience, because you just get an unfiltered view of how she thinks, believes, where she came from, and the fact that apparently, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably a good thing, but apparently she has changed almost none at all since she was a girl, like a young girl, which I guess is pretty cool because that means she must have been a pretty badass young girl, but yeah.
I feel like to stay the person she is under the assault against the person she is that has been offered up over the past few years, you would have to be genuine.
You've got a soundtrack for your...
Yes, but at the same time, Don, as it's a lot easier to bear those slings and arrows when, to quote Lizzo, she's winning.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, she's really
She
winning.
is super winning.
So I think it's in the interview about the documentary where they feature her friend. There's kind of a discussion about staying the same, but also how she's really changed is standing up for herself more.
Yeah.
Well, no, she said standing up for us, meaning you're not just standing up for yourself anymore. You're standing up for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think kind of taking control of by doing this with her production company, really getting to tell her story, on her terms and her words, her production company, her people. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's what everyone can hope for. So, I don't know. I think that's a good, I don't want to subject
Yeah. Can
people to more.
And what else is on the pop culture stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
In a whole other vibe and direction.
Totally different direction. Womp womp.
It's so Rebel Wilson
Yes.
Remember Rebel Wilson?
Yeah.
has launched a caps. I never had to notice
A
it.
limited release of her new clothing line,
Yes.
which remarkably, given that she used to be fat, is not size inclusive. It goes up to almost extra large, just sort of a large extra large mush.
So when I've been following this, and I was like, I want to see what happens with this.
Oof.
And initially, when I saw this story, they just said, to XL. It's not even XL. It's large/extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even a separate size for extra large.
So to contextualize it, they this clothing line that they're launching or intending to launch, they released a sort of limited edition, like 2 garments basically to sort of like preview what they're going to try and do. And since the backlash, of which there has been quite a lot, and we'll talk about, Rebel has posted something basically saying like, we're going to have in the full launch, we're going to have other color options and size options. But it seems like she's not really explicit about, she doesn't really actually address the fact that she didn't have any extra large and oversized garments for this small limited launch. So like, you feel like she's really dancing around it. Like, why hasn't she addressed the fact that they didn't include that?
Well, and I'm of two minds about it, because on the one hand, I can see, well, yeah, if they're just doing 2 garments in a limited, as they say, capsule run, to sort of, I guess it's like a demo reel.
Yeah.
Like you can say, okay, well, of course they're not going to bring out every garment in every size.
You're going to throw out the most popular size range.
Okay, but yes, absolutely true. And at the same time, it is just another reinforcement of like, well, this is for the real people. And then we'll get around to you people.
Yeah.
And for context, because we didn't start with this, and in case you don't know, Rebel Wilson was, and for most of her life was a very fat woman and a fat actress, and has made a career off of her size, and has recently lost a substantial amount of weight, and presumably would fit into the clothing that she is currently launching in this line, as opposed to a lot of her fans who wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Was she ever really a fat activist, though? Or was she simply
Not
a
an
fat
activist. I mean, she made a career off of her fat body.
A lot of her material, a lot of her characters are, hey, I'm fat. Like she had a whole high concept movie about basically a hot guy falling in love with the fat chick.
Yeah.
That was a high concept movie.
Which I liked. I liked that movie.
So that was definitely part of her persona. Is she an activist? Did she go in marches? Well, I don't know. I don't care. But I mean, to make a career about being fat and about how fat people are excluded, how they're never the main character, and then to lose weight and come out with a clothing line that excludes fat people, a little shady.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks.
I think so. Like, I'm of 2 minds. I have a lot of feelings.
Are you saying you're a Gemini?
Yeah. But like, to have that experience of not being able to get clothes and to go through all of this, and like, it's not like just like, this, line through another thing. She worked with her partner to develop this line. I think that's why it's R&R, because it's Rebel and her Ramona, I think is her partner's name. But to like really just not have the forethought to be like, wow, maybe I could, be kind to my past self. However she feels about her body, however she felt about her body, to just really like have an opportunity to launch. And I think it would have actually been like a bigger deal if, Rebel Wilson launches this limited edition capsule collection up to, even, I mean, I think there's always a thing then of like, okay, how high do you go and how high is inclusive? Yeah. But like even, 4X at launch.
Oh, hell, what about just XL, a legit XL?
Or a actual having XL as its own size instead of like, there's XS, there's small, there's medium, and then large / extra large.
Well, 2 things. One, isn't it funny how small is never excluded? Like no one ever drops the small, right? And then,
or extra small they have in this line.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, XS.
They have XS. Yeah, of course they do. But I guess to my earlier point, I think Don, you were saying this too. Like, okay, let's say it's an economics issue. Let's say you're not going to make every garment in every size that you would normally. Given your history and given that you are sitting down at your whatever table and going, okay, so how is this going to work and what are we going to release? Wouldn't it at least occur to you to put in the PR that you're going to have XL sizes or XXL or 5XL or whatever you're going to have, that you at least say, hey, this is, we're just doing this for now, but don't worry, it's coming. None of that. It took a Twitter backlash, as everything is these days. It took a Twitter backlash of saying exactly what you said, Trevor, which is like, given that you've experienced this, why would you foist this on us?
Yeah. For my money, I don't think she did. I don't think she thought there was going to be this much backlash, but
I don't think she was that involved.
I don't know. It's something that they're going to increase the sizing, but the fact that they didn't really commit to like, we're going at launch, when the phone line launches, we're going to go to 5X.
Exactly. They could
The
have
fact that it's like, more sizing makes me think it's like, oh, we're going to have a standalone XL and a double XL.
And I mean, one thing I appreciate is that in this article that we're talking about in Glamour by Emily Tenenbaum, she compares this particular launch to Yitty by Lizzo, who, I mean, Lizzo has been very specifically making clothes for the people that she's likely to have a lot of fans from and fat people.
And yet she was also criticized for even having body shaping products.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a larger body, how are you going to shape it? You can't shape a larger body. It will do what it wants to do.
I believe at the time Lizzo said basically, look, you can wear it or you can not wear it, but some people like it, and those people should be allowed, should have sizes they can wear.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're watching you, Rebel Wilson. She's
The eyes of the Big Fat Podcast are on you.
She just got nervous in her car, like, oh no. Ramona.
Oh yeah, she is.
Ramona, they're watching me.
I'm actually picturing Rebel Wilson driving along, looking in the rearview mirror, and Michael is just popping up in the rearview seat. Watch out!
So I don't know. It's not great there, but I'm giving her some benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, let's
Show
wait and
up.
see.
Let's see.
Let's see what she does with it. All right.
It's time.
Enough of that.
Fat Watch
Yeeted off the cliff,
2022.
but then the wings come out and now you're
Yes.
flying.
I'm flying.
Well, we're going to have to get ready for Fat Watch 2023.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
That's
this is one of the last ones.
I've been practicing in the mirror.
Watching Fat.
No, saying the words.
Oh.
I don't need a mirror for that.
It's true.
This is from Everyday Health by Christine Byrne. And it's nothing new, but I think it's always good to kind of revisit little articles and roundups like this, especially during the holidays when you're going to be seeing family and sometimes family kind of sucks balls. let's be honest. And so this is 9 tips for coping when someone's words insult your body.
Yeah.
I really liked this list, and I thought it was especially good to just like have in your arsenal as you're going into the holidays.
So the list, real quick, is 1, recognize your feelings. 2, remember that it's not about you, no matter how personal it feels. 3, challenge your own thoughts and reactions. 4, go into potentially triggering situations with a plan. 5, have in-the-moment de-stressing strategies at the ready. That's a hard one. 6, have some canned comebacks ready too. 7, set boundaries to avoid similar situations in the future. 8, surround yourself with affirming messages. And 9, journal it.
The one that stuck out to me the most was challenge your own thoughts and reactions, because this is something that I struggle with just in life. Is like you get hit with something and then you get wrapped up in your reaction to it, and because my strength and my weakness is self-analysis and like, okay, how could I do a thing better? When you get wrapped up in your reaction, that becomes your whole experience of something.
I think of it as gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm so obsessed because I know that I have a tendency emotionally to overreact to things. So I have a tendency to sit on my emotional reactions, try and contain them and grapple them into place, right? And sometimes that just means you don't validate the feelings you have that are completely valid.
I also
real.
find that sometimes, you're in your head about something, or you've had an experience about something, right? And this has certainly happened to me. And then someone says something really completely innocuous, but it hooks that narrative you have of yourself.
Yeah.
And so you think you've been insulted, but you actually haven't. They just said the thing they said, and it really didn't have anything to do with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. You sort of, it's that idea that everyone has their own world that they live in, and it's some different version of the real world, and anything that happens to support your own narrative, positive or negative, you'll latch onto. And anything that doesn't, it'll just float by your peripheral and you won't really notice it. But if your narrative happens to be negative about your own body, if you're struggling,
you will turn everything into a reinforcement of that.
Right, exactly.
And I also like the idea that, and this is so hard because it's like, well, it's not personal. Yeah, it fucking personal. You said it to me at that time.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you can have the filter of, look, whatever they said, and this is true 90% of human interactions, it's about them. And, people really, I had a teacher one time who said basically that there's only people only ask they only raise their hand at, like, this isn't a class. They only raise their hand to either prove themselves right or to draw attention to themselves. Like, even sometimes a question, you can work it out yourself, but they'll like, and this thing. And the point of that is that most people aren't really listening to you. They're having their own internal dialogue and they're saying shit.
Waiting
think
their
they're
turn
the
to say
protagonist.
something.
And they think they're the protagonist of their story. And whether that's like, oh, wow, I gained 10 pounds. I really shouldn't eat this. And you're like, shut the fuck up. Obviously that's about them and it's spilling over into your world. But, one of the ways that this article says you can counter that is you can, and I love this technique, using a question. Like, really? Why would you be upset about that?
That's my go-to usually.
I don't know. I liked having the ideas to have in the moment distressing strategies ready and surrounding yourself with affirming messages. I think especially like if, we have listeners who are going to maybe be going home and staying with family and just going to be in a very toxic environment, like having plans to be able to like go for a walk or something, or just go outside and like have a breather, or, they suggest listening to a podcast.
I was going to say one of their suggestions. So,
Just be careful with the canned comebacks, though, because I think when you're prepping these comebacks, it's really easy to and satisfying to come up with something that's a little more skewering, which is just going to aggravate things. Like,
that's true.
Think of try to stick with the canned comebacks that are diffusing, deflecting, or distracting.
I don't know. Give it to I'm on the other. John's a little angel on your shoulder. I'm like, just give it really make it.
Keep in mind,
Susan
these
cry.
are family environments, so like these are rarely
You're
going to
gonna
stay
see these
one-on-one
people
fights.
again.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
These are rarely going to be fights that are
Trevor's
going to be
like,
had once
I
or
don't
just
have to.
involve the two of you.
That's
It always spills over.
I will say this though, in the like prepping your ammo, I usually find that the place I go in my head to like, like you are going home, an event is coming up and you're anticipating it not going well. And you're just having all these scenarios of how bad and how toxic. And I would say this and they're going to say that, but I would say this then. And then you're going back and you're doing a whole disaster movie.
Yep.
And then you get to the event and it is like absolutely nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I find that if I have imagined this awful war zone scenario, I am inevitably surprised by how well it goes.
I'll take
For me, I'm a little bit of the opposite. If I prep for war, I'm ready for war, and there will be war.
That's
then you're
more
creating-
where
then you're
I'm
creating it.
I'm
exactly.
bringing my own creation.
Yeah,
if I do
exactly.
that.
It's troublesome. Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Usually not in the like attacking, like aggressive way, but a lot of times I'll have in my head that something is going to go a certain way, and it just kind of has to at that
All the
point.
dynamite has
Like-
been
And if it
fused
doesn't, if
Yeah.
it's not falling right into that slot, you're going to find ways to nudge it in that direction.
Yeah, like a lot of times it's like, oh, I really don't want to go to this event or this get together or whatever. And even if I have a decent time of it, I'll walk in with so much anxiety or so much like, it's
I'm
like so
imagining
unnecessary.
I'm imagining the scenario where like, the host or hostess says like, wow, that turkey looks so delicious and rich. Like, why are you calling
would
me
you
fat?
say that? Yep, pretty much. So anyway, if you feel like you're going into a potentially confronting situation, check out the list. It's short, it's sweet, it's got some good little tips in there. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And with that, I think we're ready to take you on a nice little holiday lighthearted journey.
Yes.
As we talk
It's a
about
holly jolly
Christmas
our-
presents.
what presents and these are specifically our own sort of wish lists, like writing to Santa.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
but
what
the
you should buy
original
us.
thought
fans.
was
Exactly.
like, if you have a Don in your life,
Yeah.
or a Trevor in your life,
So what do we got? Who wants to go first? Who wants to write to Santa?
I'm willing to lead it off.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I feel like mine are kind of vague, right? But gifts that mean the most to me, right, are one of two different types. It's the gift that you thought you saw this thing and you thought this was something I would genuinely enjoy. And that's it, right? Like it doesn't have to be an expensive thing. It's just like, oh, here's this book, or here's this like little chocolate thing that I know you haven't tried, right? It's a gift about thought, right?
That it's not just like, here's $10 I spent.
Yeah. Like I don't want something obligatory. I'd rather have nothing than something obligatory.
Absolutely right.
Right. But like something small that you think has meaning, that means a lot to me. The other thing that I especially love is a gift that means something to you, right? It's something where here's a book that I love, that it's formative to me. This is a piece of me I want you to
Don't
share
you
and
find
enjoy.
that incredibly dangerous advice?
No, I don't.
Because that's, I mean, it reminds me like, so you're going to get like, oh, I thought of you and I bought you this thing that you'll never use. Or like, this means a lot to me and I have no idea if it means anything to you, but it really means a lot to me.
No, because to me, that means this is something that is, you're literally sharing a part of you, something that is formative to you.
Okay.
And to me, that has meaning, even if the item itself is not something that I'll, find practical use for.
Yeah.
It's literally the thought, and it's for me, it's funny because I literally told my parents this like throughout my entire lifetime. I have never received a present from either of my parents that reflect any sort of thought on who I am, or sharing something about themselves.
Now I get it. No.
But I think that is because because I kind of agree with Dan. That is a very hard thing for a lot of people to do. And I
That
think
would be me.
that your parents are like, don't want to make you feel misunderstood by giving you something that they think of you that you would maybe not think of yourself.
I love this dialogue because Trevor comes from the opposite gift receiving perspective, which is Trevor always gets what he wants, except it's a little bit wrong.
Yes. I will ask for something and it's like the genie wish of like, oh, it's this thing, but not.
Didn't you ask for like what is the child? I don't want to give it away, but
Oh, yeah. So I'm a Pokemon kid. Scarlet and Violet just came out. Very fun. But one year, my mom got me a bunch of Digimon stuff, and it was all this stuff, like all these like little like beanbag characters.
and she was
like,
so proud of
she's
herself.
like, Digimon, and I was like,
That's not
I'm like,
it.
it's not Digimon. It's
I had
Pokemon.
friends that got GoBots instead of Transformers, and they were kids. And they lost their shit.
Yeah.
No, my mom took it back and got me Pokemon. So it was
good.
this weird thing of like, it's like big thing of like.
I had that same exact experience. I wanted, when I was a kid, I was not allowed to play a whole lot of computer games, but I kind of forced my way into it. I was like, yes, this is what I want. And so I asked for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which was
Such a good game.
Such a really, really good game. I want to play it. And my dad went out to get it, and he did try to get the real game. They were sold out, and so he asked the guy at the game store, "Well, what else should I get for my 13-year-old kid?"
Prince of Persia.
It was no, it wasn't even that. It was Medal of Honor. It was like a first-person shooter.
Oh no!
Completely, but it was a good guess at something somebody my age should have liked.
Yeah.
But it was totally. I did play it, and it was okay, but it was totally not what I wanted. But I had to sit there. So.
You have to fake it. You have to fake it.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
I had a similar thing. Again, like this is why I think the gifts that I've described mean something to me. You have put some thought into it, and you have shown me either that you know me enough to have found something for me, or you value me enough to want to share something personal.
Don,
to you.
I am going to use that every time the next time I fuck up a gift for Trevor. Because I have done that so many times. Haven't I, honey?
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that.
So while I always do appreciate these personal touch gifts, and that's what I crave. The other thing that I would love would be these sort of like monthly gift boxes you get with the surprises in them. I've never had one, and I think they sound neat. Like I would love a surprise.
By the way, apparently there's a gaming version of that.
Yes, there's versions for everything.
Yeah,
Like game of the month or something?
it's kind of like. I mean, actually, we can just go into mine because it's related to this. It's a thing that you can opt into. I think it's like $5. Michael just told me about this. I haven't researched it, but it's like $5, and they guarantee you like a game that's won certain kinds of awards, plus a game that has like this, degree of popularity, and this game that has like this degree of whatever, and they just bundle them together. You don't know what you're going to get.
Well, that sounds cool if you're a gamer.
Yeah. They used to call it grab bags when I was going to comic book shops when I was a kid. Like it was like $10. Here's a big pile of comics in a opaque wrapper, and opening them up was a joy. So these gift boxes where it's like every month it's a new like murder mystery puzzle box, or, chocolates from across Europe, or cheese. I like cheese.
Cheese of the month club.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had a wine of the month club.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, I think that's lovely. And as a gift, that means that once a month I will think of you as your generosity and largesse arrives at my doorstep.
I've done that. Not as random as like you don't know what you're going to get, but I've done flowers before for partners' moms. That's usually pretty good. It gets expensive, but it's usually pretty good.
Do you mean like
Why are flowers so expensive?
like a flower delivery?
Oh, every month? Though.
Yeah, every month.
Oh, okay.
And it's for different seasons, and
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's nice. It's earned me a lot of kudos, which is
See,
it's an important game to play.
I don't have to do that because mothers love me.
Well, what would you like for Christmas, Dan?
Well, big on my list is slippers. I know that sounds like
You are a slipper guy, aren't you?
Well, only because we have so many we have stone floors.
Yeah.
We have stone floors everywhere, broken up by some rugs. And, you don't want to put a rug in the kitchen. So I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, slippers are a big deal for me.
He gets slippers every year for Christmas.
And I'm like right now, like around October, I'm like, is it Christmas yet? Because I really need new slippers. These are wearing out. I think we need to institute slipper Christmas in July or something.
Yeah.
I think for me, what works really well, and you can spend anywhere from like $5 to $500 on stuff like this, like tea accoutrements, coffee accoutrements, bar accoutrements. All those are really great for me. I tend to prefer bar and coffee, but Trevor's a huge fan of tea, as you can see by our just infinite tea collection in the cupboards.
Bombas has slippers, by the way. I don't know, Trevor.
We're getting there, Michael.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry.
But yeah, so this again, so sometimes people are afraid like, well, I know he likes scotch, but I don't know anything about scotch and I don't want to pay $5,000 for a bottle of scotch. So, which you can do, listeners.
My dear.
And I'll give you my address if you want to do that.
Be careful with that.
What's got to have a $5,000 bottle of scotch? There's an ante here.
Okay, right. Only.
No, what I'm saying is you can very easily just go online, spend like 90 seconds, like top 10 bourbons or top 10 scotches. Mm-hmm. And they'll usually be broken up by price range. So like the best bourbon for under $50 or the best something for, and that's like, you don't know anything about alcohol, but they do. And worst case scenario, you get them something they already have because they already like it.
Yeah.
So,
that's fair.
No problem.
Yeah. I like that. What about
That
you,
was
Trevor?
me. So, I just went to a place of Christmas kind of tradition, but I have different spins on it. And I thought of I feel like this is a Midwest thing, or maybe just like it was a 90s thing. A trio of popcorn.
Oh, no. So Chicago.
It's got cheese and butter and caramel.
Plain, and something weird.
No, when you're really lucky, they put the dividers in the barrels so you can actually have separate flavors.
Yeah.
But not all the time. Sometimes they mix them all together.
No.
Hold on.
Sometimes you're
Okay.
supposed to, eat
So I have different levels of popcorn. There is my current obsession, which is Bjorn corn, which is
made from real Bjorn.
It's bougie popcorn that when these two guys started making and selling popcorn, they used a solar popper, which is basically they made these, put the kernels in these big pots and then set up these solar reflectors to use like the sun's heat to pop the popcorn.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's very eco-friendly.
It's eco-friendly. It's, I don't know.
It's Arizona Christmas.
But it's bougie. They have, they did a collaboration with Food 52, which is the Amanda Hesser, who's the former food editor for New York Times. So their popcorn trio, it's their original, which their original is, it has nutritional yeast, so it's kind of like natural, cheesy, yeasty,
got kind
delicious.
of a funky flavor.
Yeah. Plain salted popcorn, which is actually very, very good.
Yes.
And then Amanda Hesser made a flavor that's exclusive to this trio tin that is chili crisp.
Ooh.
Crisp because it has sugar?
No, because it has the little crispy, like chili crisp, like the, no. Are you just going to keep guessing or are you going to let me tell
No,
you?
I'm going to keep guessing.
Chili crisp is a seasoning where it's little chili flakes and oil with sometimes garlic or onion.
It's like a chili streusel on top of your popcorn.
Yeah. but they also have on their website, like you can just get popcorn from their website so they have their umami, nutritional yeast one, salted, a maple one. They have spicy, they have truffle.
I should say, to combine Don's and Trevor's idea, you could buy this, but you could also make your own spiced popcorn, flavored popcorn, and give it to a guest.
So that was going to be one of my other ones was either making like a unique seasoned popcorn, or giving someone either like one of those. There's a little microwave silicone poppers that there's a few brands that are really recommended, and then maybe getting some spices from like Trader Joe's, or if you have like a local spice shop you love.
So like give them a kit.
Yeah. For like a little popcorn movie night thing.
That's a really cool idea.
Or, which Dan was talking about at the start of this, Garrett's popcorn from Chicago.
Yes.
Which there
Bucket
is.
O corn.
They do. They're known for their cheese corn and their caramel corn, or the Chicago mix, which is caramel corn and cheddar corn mixed together. It is a salty, sweet thing.
I know.
I used
Takes
to
me
be in the
forever
same
to separate them.
because I grew up. We would, they would have the trio or just like split buckets, but there's something about it. It grows on you, and it just.
I can get behind that. I don't always like them mixed together, but I've tried it before, and it's fine.
I mean, I don't prefer them mixed together, but I'll sometimes like it's. You can't get like a little bucket split, so I'll frequently just get the small bucket because I'm just one man. I can only eat so much popcorn. No, but so aside from popcorn, I think two other things popcorn, cozy vibes. Michael said earlier, Bombas has new slippers.
Yes,
we've sung the praises of Bombas. I think they'll fit my feet. They look.
Michael has them.
Okay,
he got some, and he said they're surprisingly roomy and extremely, extremely comfortable.
So yeah, that was there, and then also there is a fat-owned, fat-sized robe company, Peridot Robes, and they have some especially looking cozy robes, and I believe their sizes go to 7X.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's 6X or 7X. But they have them. They're very like lush, cozy looking.
Are they like terry cloth or?
They come in different
Textures?
fabrics.
Okay.
But also really great colors. Like there's one where it's like a purple plum. They have an emerald one.
These sound like Clue character colors.
I mean, kind of.
Everybody gets their own color, and we
Is
kill
there
someone in the apartment.
mustard
We figure out who
flavored?
did it.
Yeah.
Or colored.
They have some with hoods. With like a hoodie, but a robe.
So if you want to be part of a cult, you can just
Yes.
buy a bunch
Cozy
of those.
cult. The cult of. If you want to join the cult of cozy.
I feel like mine is not nearly as complicated as yours. Maybe I'm more along the lines of Dan, but I was trying to think of like things, and I don't know. I have a very complicated relationship with gifts that apparently at least my younger sister has echoed as well. There's a lot of guilt associated with receiving gifts, particularly for Christmas. I don't know. I find it very uncomfortable, and I tend to avoid gift giving.
Well, you react the same way to compliments too.
Yeah, I think I've gotten better about that because that's a much simpler thing. You don't have to live with it after the moment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like the gift is like it's just there.
You can tell them they're wrong and walk away.
Yeah. You can get out of that pretty quickly. Gifts, I don't know. There was just a lot of like, as kids, we heard a lot about money or lack of money. And then it was like, oh, well, you're spending this money that we don't have on gifts for me, and I don't deserve that. And I was not the only one. I'm not the only person in my family who felt that way. So at least I have comfort in that. So asking for gifts is a little odd. I just recently built myself a gaming computer, which has been sort of a lifelong dream to have an actual, like, legitimately cutting edge, like top of the line. Like this has been something I've been building towards, and it's been a hell of a year. A lot of work and a lot of stress, a lot of stress. And I wanted to do something for myself that I could like appreciate and like celebrate having accomplished a handful of things. And so I bought myself a gaming computer, and now I need games to play. And so I think that's kind of the route that I went. That's why I brought up the
subscription.
The grab bag of games, to try things out. I have a lot of like somewhat older games. I mean, I have a bunch of games, but it would be something to push the limits of the RTX 4090, which is just there's a handful of listeners will be out there like, oh, but it's an extremely expensive, extremely powerful graphics card. And I want something to push it. I want something to push it to its limits. So I think that's the direction I would go.
I just flashed on the Daffy Duck Porky Pig Uranium 326 space modulator.
Yeah, that's it. They've got all the cool numbers.
It obstructs my view of Venus.
Did you have something to wrap us up with?
Yeah, this one is very Dan, very nerdy, very like, really? I am very happy with my New York Times crossword puzzle subscription that comes to my iPhone, and I get to play crossword puzzles.
Nice.
And trust me, if you have a cruciverbalist, if you have a cruciverbalist in your life, that's a crossword player. You might think, oh, I could just get them any old book of crosswords. Oh, nay, say I. No, because you get what you pay for. So the New York Times crossword can be both frustrating and delightful. You can obviously get other newspapers if you prefer. They often subscribe to the New York Times to get theirs. But anyway, yeah, it's a nominal fee. It's like $5.99 a month, and you get crosswords downloaded to your iPhone or whatever.
Nice.
Well, here you go. Just get that and turn up the graphic settings on the crossword.
I'm just imagining like this gunfire and heavy dramatic music playing was like for a cross, Christmas tree rubble ?
Crosswords for me are an exercise in anxiety.
Of course,
I don't know why.
Of course they are.
My problem is I just can't let it go. Like I can't answer this question, but I can't walk away from it. I have to figure out the answer.
I have to confess, I did have to make my peace with crosswords because at one point I was very much, I think, in Michael's camp of like, so basically a hard crossword just means the clues are really lousy.
Or they're just lies.
They're either lies or lousy. And you have to, but what I do find is the benefit is they make your mind work in other directions quickly, which I find, I don't know. I find it increases my elasticity.
My brain doesn't think in puns and puzzles and riddles. Like it's so straining to try and think in clever puns. It's so, I hate it.
Well, I mean, word and math games are supposed to be the two that are most beneficial to the human brain as it ages. So.
Ding, 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 ding. That's why I'm getting old wisely.
Smartly.
Do
we have a tip?
I don't know. I would also suggest, this is not a gifty tip. NAFA's trying to get we have a goal of $10,000 by the end of the year. We're, I think as of today, like 2,000 something. Mm-hmm. So like making our way towards that goal. If you have a fat phobic relative.
I was just thinking that it connects to the beginning.
Gift.
It connects to the beginning. In your name. I donated in your name.
Yes.
That'll really get him.
Yeah. If you
spite giving.
If you spite
what
gift
mom's getting for Christmas
to a relative, I'll do like a cameo style video as they have a board member to thank them.
Silence.
We have fun here at the Big Fat Gay Podcast.
Is there a bit?
There is a bit.
Thank God.
So since we're rapidly approaching Christmas and since we're focusing on gifts today, I thought we would take a quick trip into the world of some of the best gifts given throughout history.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with this one. A lot of men probably sent flowers to the actress Marilyn Monroe. Not much of a new story there. But there was something very special about the roses Joe DiMaggio sent her. What was so special?
There's scorpions in them.
And I'm going to list off some hints. When you think you know what I'm talking about, buzz in. All right. 1, that's a lot of flowers. 2, always fresh, never paper. 3, while not eternal, frequently replaced. Or 4, posthumous forever.
Rose bushes on her grave? I have no idea.
I got one by all of you. All right. Well, the correct answer is eternal roses.
What is that?
He placed a perpetual order for flowers from a local Parisian flower shop. so that they would always be delivering fresh flowers to her grave every day throughout forever.
Well, I got that, except I said rose bushes.
But they weren't bushes, were they?
Partial credit.
Partial credit on that.
I was nowhere near that. So
So he did actually discontinue his order in 1982.
Oh,
But
lame.
When did he die? 1981.
Well, I suppose that would be reasonable.
our next historical gift. After General William T. Sherman captured Atlanta from the Confederates in September 1864, Sherman and some of his men disappeared for about 6 weeks. The White House received no communications from them, and President Lincoln feared the worst. Then, on December 22nd, Sherman sent Lincoln a telegraph with the message, "I beg to present you as a Christmas gift." What?
these nuts.
Hint 1, not a person. Hint 2,
I would hope not.
not a thing.
Okay.
Hint 3, somewhere in Georgia. Hint 4, not Atlanta. He presented the gift of Savannah, Georgia to the president.
Oh.
I knew it was probably a place, but I couldn't. I mean,
Is this after he had burned it to the ground?
I think that was Atlanta.
it was
Didn't you
no.
say- oh, you
It
said
was
Savannah.
everything.
It's
It was
Savannah.
everything from the point that he started to the point that he ended. I mean, throw a rock.
I have to say, I didn't realize the answer clue format thing until this question, because the last one I was like, all of those seem like the same answer.
Well, the answer, in fact, was the city of Savannah with 150 heavy guns, plenty of ammunition, and also about 25,000 bales of cotton.
All right. There's a video game.
That's one heck of a present. All right. In the late 1800s, the United States was given an extremely important gift, one that we value and still use today. What was that gift, and who gave it to us?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
The Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
and France.
all right, Statue of Liberty.
France gave it to us.
That is correct. I'm actually surprised how many people don't know that it was a gift to the U.S., but
Oh. Even I learned that in history class. And we barely made it past the 1800s.
what's
my
funny
God.
is I realized I had a memory from when I was like 2. I think it was in the late 70s, they did a restoration of the Statue of Liberty.
They did.
And they collected pennies from everywhere. They had these like drop a penny bowls and
For the copper?
for the copper,
Oh.
right? And because back then, apparently, it was very common for pennies to actually have a lot
Actually
of
have
copper, in
copper,
them.
yeah.
Not just copper-coated zinc.
Yeah. So, dear listener, what amazing gifts have you received? And what amazing gifts would you give us? No. Trevor, where could they tell us about what gifts they're thinking about?
Well, we're on Instagram and Twitter as @BigFatGayPod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars there. Leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BigFatGayPod.
Yeah.
And see the articles and some of the gifts we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod.com.
And they, somebody,
Watch out for that.
That's the cutting room floor right there.
Watch out.
we,
Welcome to my life.
we got a new review.
Was that it?
Thank you. Thank you to the new reviewer on Apple Podcasts. Trevor, take us home.
Well, maybe you're a little mouse and you think you got a tin of popcorn for Christmas and you're like, I can do all this. But little buddy, I got a warning for you. You can't. So
Definitely watch out, little mousy.